Oh, hello! After a long search, we've chosen our first 2 fans to come shuffle up and play with us here on a special fan episode of Shuffle Up and Play. We'll briefly introduce the winners at the end of today's video, so stay tuned. Tarkir Dragonstorm is here, and I absolutely adore this set. It feels just as exciting as the original Tarkir block was. The clans, the setting, the dragons. Oh my god, the dragons! There are so many dragons! It is no surprise that Tarkir Dragonstorm is totally worth it, and I hope very much that everyone out there has already signed up for a pre-release event at their local game store so that you can be among the very first to play with and experience all the awesome that Tarkir has to offer. But never mind pre-release, we got Commander singles to talk about. Who are the best new cards to pick up for the 99 of your Commander decks? We've compiled our list, but it wasn't easy. Scrolling through the set list, I was truly blown away by how many great cards there are in Tarkir Dragonstorm for Commander. From sweet, awesome new creatures, to powerful, value-generating enchantments, to multiple excellent interaction spells. This set has so much to offer for the 99 of your Commander decks. If there's a downside to a lot of these cards, it's that so many of the coolest designs are 3 colors, making them too restrictive to see wide Commander play. But they're awesome nonetheless. Death Begets Life, a ridiculous, rather expensive Sultai board wipe that lets you draw cards for each permanent destroyed. What a banger. Dragonback Assault, a damage-based teamer sweeper that sticks around and makes dragons with every land drop you make. Radical. Purination, an Abzan reanimation spell that returns a permanent to play and makes it nearly impossible to remove. Snap. These are powerful, exciting cards that I can't wait to play with, but in terms of the best new cards for Commander from Tarkir Dragonstorm, well, it just didn't feel right to put them on the list. So exercising great personal restraint, I didn't. Instead, I compiled a list of 7 new cards from Tarkir Dragonstorm that are not restricted to a specific 3-color trio. These are cards intended for the 99, mind you, so any legendary creature you may find on this list is being evaluated not as a commander, but for its utility in your deck. And you know what? Even with this self-imposed restriction, I still found it difficult to narrow all the great Commander cards down into a single list. But I was cutthroat, ruthless. I picked only the best of the best of the best from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Are you ready to see what my picks are? Let's take a look. But first, do you know what people always say to me? He looks like he likes his Helix, and they're always right. I love my Helix mattress, which is why they're the sponsor of today's video. Helix's incredible premium mattresses and bedding, customized to fit your needs and shipped right to your door with free shipping within the US. My life gets pretty busy, so being well rested every morning is vital. And I gotta tell you, since switching to a Helix a couple years ago, my sleep has gotten miles better. Everyone has got a different body with different resting needs. That's why Helix developed their signature sleep quiz. You answer some questions about body type and sleep preferences, and they pair you to the right mattress for your sleep style. I'm a back sleeper who needs a firm mattress, so the Helix sleep quiz paired me with the Helix Luxe Dusk mattress, and it's been an absolute game changer. Their lineup features 20 unique mattresses, from the award-winning Luxe and ultra-premium Elite mattresses to special mattresses for kids and big and tall sleepers. And real talk here, there have been a lot of news stories and TikToks recently about a number of health issues and lawsuits surrounding harmful fiberglass in mattresses. One of the many things I love about Helix is that their mattresses have always been fiberglass free. And so that's yet another reason that I sleep easier in the world knowing that I'm sleeping on a Helix mattress. So if you're ready to start sleeping easier too, check it out, because Helix is running an awesome sale right now. Just click the link below or visit helixsleep.com/Talarian to get 25% off. Wow, 25% off your Helix mattress. What a deal. Thank you, Helix, for sponsoring this video. There was a time when Crucible of Worlds was a rare effect, but that's not the case anymore, and number 7 on the list is a quintessential example of how times have changed. Glacierwood Siege is a modal enchantment for 1 generic and 1 of each Simic mana. It's part of a cycle of 5 sieges that each bridge the gap between the identities of clans that share an enemy color pair. In this case, Temur and Sultai. When Glacierwood Siege enters play, choose either Temur or Sultai. If you choose Temur, then each instant or sorcery spell you cast mills target player for 4. If you choose Sultai, well, you've got yourself yet another Crucible of Worlds. As of the printing of Glacierwood Siege, there are now 8 permanents that allow you to play lands from your graveyard. For context, when Rumunap Excavator was first printed in Hour of Devastation, it was only the 2nd iteration of that effect ever. The first, Crucible of Worlds, was originally printed in 5th Dawn in 2004. Fun fact, if 5th Dawn was a person, it could legally drink alcohol this year. Oh my god, I'm old. Did you play 5th Dawn when it came out? Then you're old too. Oh god. Hour of Devastation, on the other hand, was printed in 2017. It took 13 years for an alternative to Crucible of Worlds to be printed. In the 8 years since then, we've now seen 6 more, plus a couple additional conditional versions of the effect in Eye of Duskmantle and Hazon's Shaper of Sand. There are so many Crucible of Worlds variants now that lands players have too many to choose from when they construct their 99. For most lands decks in Commander, drawing 1 Crucible effect is crucial. Crucible? Crucial. But the second copy you draw is a totally dead card. That means it's very hard to know how many copies of cards that are important to draw once, but are very bad in multiples to run in your deck. Therefore, with so many Crucible variants to choose from, Glacierwood Siege sticks out as one of the better ones, along with Walking Closet, Forgotten Cellar from Duskmourn. Both cards are Crucible effects that do more than simply let you play lands from your yard. If you draw Glacierwood Siege when you don't have a Crucible in play already, you'll be thrilled to now get to play lands from your yard. But if you draw it when you do have a Crucible in play already, then you get a powerful graveyard filling engine, juicing every instant and sorcery you cast for the remainder of the game. But that's just one of the best new cards for your Commander 99 from this awesome set. Next up is another variant on Birthing Pod, another effect we've seen a lot of iteration on in the last few years. This one offers a different twist on the concept though. Sidisi, Regent of the Mire, is a 2-mana 1/3 black zombie snake warlock with a single ability. Tap Sidisi and sack another creature you control to return target creature card with 1 greater mana value than the sacrificed creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sidisi is a work of art. Elegant, evocative design, the kind of card you wonder how it didn't already exist. Despite literally reanimating creatures, her templating actually is distinct from traditional reanimation in that she doesn't inherently cheat on much mana. You can reanimate a big creature with her, but you'll need a creature that's only slightly less big in play in order to do so. Of course, you can get around this with cost reductors like Sultai's signature Delve ability, but you'll have to be careful how much you eat away at your graveyard with Sidisi in play, since you're probably going to want to activate her every turn you untap with her. Though she's legendary, and you certainly could run her in your command zone, I've included Sidisi on this list because I believe she's best suited to find a home in the 99 of Aristocrats decks, Zombies decks, and all sorts of mid-range black decks that want to get consistent reanimation value. Her ability is a fantastic role player, but I don't feel it's the kind of effect worth building an entire deck around. One reason for this lies in the biggest choke point to making Sidisi work: getting both enough creatures in play to sacrifice and enough stuff in the graveyard to reanimate with her ability each turn. Still, with enough Entomb variants in your list, and plenty of self-mill and discard outlets, you shouldn't have too much trouble finding something good to reanimate with her. Hold on, I just had a thought. Sidisi absolutely pops off with Intruder Alarm in play. Holy moly, sound the alarm! We just figured out how to finally break Intruder Alarm, fam! Next up is a card that's surely a 10 on Mark Rosewater's Stormscale. Stormscale Scion. Stormscale Scion is a 6-mana 4/4 flying dragon lord with Storm. That's right, Wizards of the Coast printed a dragon with Storm in Tarkir Dragonstorm. I think they did this just to troll Mark Rosewater. When you cast a permanent spell with Storm, the copies you create become tokens when they enter play. And because each Scion pumps each other Scion you control, your board gets exponentially bigger bigger for each storm count you accrue. If you have a way to give your dragons haste, and in a red deck that won't be difficult, then making 4 additional copies of Stormscale Scion is a one-hit kill for an unlucky player at your table. 8 additional copies makes 9 total 12/12 flying dragons, enough to send 36 flying damage at each of your opponents. Simply put, Stormscale Scion is immediately one of the best storm win cons in Commander. It's reminiscent of Elemental Eruption from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, except the Lord ability on Stormscale Scion is a more consistent power and toughness buff to give the creatures you storm into than Prowess of Eruption. Essentially, once you storm off, you'd really like to have the last spell you cast be your storm card. Therefore, the Prowess on the Eruption tokens doesn't help much on the turn you cast them. Though Elemental Eruption is the most direct comparison for Stormscale Scion from a mechanical standpoint, the best flavor comparison is, of course, the literal card Dragonstorm, after which Tarkir Dragonstorm is named. It's technically easier to win the game immediately with Dragonstorm, since you can fetch up a Dragon Lord Culligan, a Terror of the Peaks, and whatever other dragons you'd like in order to instantly kill the entire board when you resolve your Dragonstorm. But that's a much less compact win condition for a Storm deck, since it forces you to run all those dragons in your deck, which tend to make for pretty poor draws on their own. Stormscale Scion lets you storm into a board full of big dragons without having to dedicate slots in your 99 to a bunch of expensive dragons, and it does so for 3 less mana than Dragonstorm. Get your rituals ready, the dragons are coming, and there will be a lot of them. Speaking of dragons, I've got another great dragon card for you. Aren't dragons just awesome? The only problem is they're so damn expensive to cast. Well, with card number 4 on this list, that won't be a problem anymore. Introducing Dracogenesis. Can you believe this card? Look at it. Dragon spells you cast are free. 0 mana dragons. Forever. Don't worry that this card is 8 mana. Don't think about it. That's probably how much you were planning to spend on your coolest dragons anyway. Don't worry either that this is basically just Omniscience but more restrictive. It's way cheaper than Omniscience. Compared to 10 mana, 8 mana is nothing. It's pennies. You can cast this card in your sleep. Okay, fine. Dracogenesis has some hurdles to overcome in order to be great. It is indeed expensive, I get it. It's probably at its best in more casual tables, but come on, all your dragons for free? A rooftop storm effect is so much more valuable for dragons than it is for zombies. Dragons tend to be very powerful and therefore quite expensive. If you cast 2 dragons off of Dracogenesis, you're likely to have made your 8 mana investment back. If you cast 3 dragons, you're certainly going to be up on mana. And if you cast any more than 3 dragons, forget about it. Yes, you will still have to survive long enough to cast this card, but in red, you have access to rituals and treasure makers galore. If you're in green, you can ramp into this, of course, but you can also put it into your graveyard and then turn a shifting woodland into a copy of it. In a Tiamat deck, if you put this into play, you can cast Tiamat from your command zone, then tutor for 5 dragons from your deck that you'll then cast for free. I'm sure you can find a combination of 5 dragons that win the game on the spot when you cast them all for free. But here, let me help you. Terror of the Peaks, Dragon Lord Culligan, Stormscale Scion, and literally any other 2 dragons. I haven't done the math on how much damage that deals, but I'm guessing it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000,000,000,000,000 billion gazillion. Do I really have to sell you on this card? Here, let me try one more time. It's free dragons. Up next, I've got another dragon for you. Hey, did your friend play a turn 1 Soul Ring? Are you tired of all your opponent's mana rocks and mana dorks and mana sinks? Well, number 3 on this list will help you with all of that, and while doing so, it'll make you the least popular player at the table in the process. Excellent. Clarion Conqueror is a 3/3 flying white dragon for 3 mana, a rare mana cost and color for a dragon to be. This rare card comes with a rare ability. The activated abilities of creatures, planeswalkers, and artifacts all can't be activated while Clarion Conqueror is in play. No exception for mana abilities. Interesting. Clarion Conqueror is a remarkable stacks piece in the Commander format. It's like if Linvala and Collector Oof had a baby, and that baby really hated planeswalkers. creatures. Unlike Linvala, Clarion Conqueror is symmetrical, so don't go trying to activate your own creature's abilities with this thing in play. But in a deck without many, if any, cards of your own that Clarion Conqueror shuts off, this little dragon is going to be an absolute nightmare for your opponents. As with any good stacks piece, the key to getting the most out of Clarion Conqueror is to complement the disruption it provides with pressure, likely in the form of a wide board of creatures. Clarion Conqueror won't win the game on its own, and eventually your opponents will draw a removal spell for it. If it's one of many creatures you have in play, not only do you put the onus on your opponents to draw that removal spell quickly, but they might find themselves with more pressing targets for that removal than your Conqueror once they do. There have been a lot of great stacks pieces printed into standard sets in recent years, but the potency of Clarion Conqueror's ability, combined with its excellent evasive stat line, makes this new stacks creature one of the best the format has seen in quite some time. Are counterspells getting you down? The next card on this list has you covered. Number 3 on our list is not only part of a new cycle of monocolored check lands, but it is likely going to break through into CEDH territory. And no, the C does not stand for casual. Mistrise Village is a mono-blue producing land that enters untapped if you control a forest or a mountain. It's also got an activated ability. Pay a blue mana and tap it to make the next spell you cast this turn uncounterable. Holy cow, this card is a doozy, especially in decks where it'll enter untapped a lot of the time, though it's worth noting that you can still run this as a tap land in blue decks that aren't green or red if you're sick of your spells getting countered by your playgroup. In CEDH in particular, Mistrise Village is a massive powerhouse. Many of the best CEDH decks touch at least one of the Simic or Izzet color pairs, so in most of the top decks, this is an untapped blue-producing land that is therefore virtually free to run in your deck. Not only can Mistrise Village protect your combo win conditions, but you can also use it to protect your interaction with your opponent's combo kills. A single piece of interaction is often not enough to fight through an opponent's win if they have enough counter magic backup of their own. But that's no longer true if Mistrise Village is in play. Tapping down 2 mana sources to activate Mistrise Village is a significant cost, but if you're using it to protect a mana-efficient win condition or a free counter spell of your own, you'll be more than happy to spend that additional cost. All 5 of these new monocolor check lands are nice additions to their respective colors for any deck that's legally allowed to run the requisite basic land types to make them enter untapped. But Mistrise Village is far and away the best of them for Commander, especially in the higher brackets. So what is the number 1 best new card for the Commander 99 from Tarkir Dragonstorm? Well, have you ever wished Anointed Procession wasn't just a busted enchantment for a tokens deck? Have you ever wished it came with a Planeswalker attached? If so, has Wizards of the Coast got a new card for you? And it's our number 1 new card for the Commander 99 from Tarkir Dragonstorm, and that is Elspeth Stormslayer. Elspeth Stormslayer is a 5-mana, 5-loyalty white planeswalker with a static ability that's literally just the text box of Anointed Procession. If you would make 1 or more tokens, instead make twice that many, okay. And because Elspeth Stormslayer is not Anointed Procession, she's also got 3, count 'em 3 loyalty abilities. Her +1 reads, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, but because of her static ability, you're actually going to create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Her 0 ability puts a +1/+1 counter on all your creatures, and they all gain flying. Her -3 reads, destroy target creature your opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. Planeswalkers are not at their best in Commander, not just because there's 3 times as many players who can attack them, but also because you only get to activate them half as often as you do in 1v1. Therefore, any value they generate with their loyalty ability is much less significant than it would be in 1v1. Certain Planeswalkers are able to buck that trend with powerful static abilities, and these have a constant impact on the board even when the Planeswalker isn't being activated. Elspeth Stormslayer falls into this category, with the static ability so powerful that a permanent that offered you nothing but the static ability would cost 1 mana less. For just 1 more mana, your Anointed Procession effect makes 2 1/1s when it enters, buffs your entire team, and gives them all flying for a turn. Or, just shoots down a pesky creature an opponent controls. And that is just on the turn it comes into play. It can keep doing that turn after turn after turn, if it sticks in play, which it likely will since you'll be so good at making tokens for chump blocking. In the past 2 years, we've seen multiple Great White Token duplicators, such as Mondrak Glory Dominus and O'Hare Tack Deepest Foundation. Elspeth Stormslayer easily competes with both of these cards, and you could make a compelling case that she's the best of them. Her 3 abilities are all just very good effects to strap onto an already great static ability. Of all the cards in Tarkir Dragonstorm, Elspeth is my pick for the absolute best for your Commander 99, but what do you think? Which Tarkir Dragonstorm card are you most excited to put in the 99 of your deck? And are there any cards that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. And speaking of Commander, I want to take a moment to both announce and congratulate the 2 awesome individuals who have been selected to come on our very first ever Shuffle Up and Play with Fans episode. We had a lot of applicants and it was incredibly difficult to select only 2, but we got there, so please give a huge congratulations to Cass and James, who will be joining us shortly for a game of Commander with myself and 1 Shuffle Up and Play recurring character. Now, this is far from our only fan episode that we will be doing, so be sure to tune into it when it airs, as I'll be discussing the soon-to-be recurring system that we have developed for creating more opportunities for fan episodes in the future. Also, you should tune into it because I've got a feeling the episode is going to be a blast. Thank you, of course, to everyone who submitted entries. Like I said, it was really tough to pick only 2 people to start, which is why we want to do so many more of these episodes in the future. And remember, if you are in need of a new mattress yesterday, then Helix has got you covered today. Helix, sponsor of this video, is running an awesome sale right now where you can get 25% off. That's right, 25% off by going to helixsleep.com/Talarian or clicking the link in this video's description. A better night's sleep is just a Helix mattress away.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
What's up? It's Shuffle Up and Play with decks that Tomer has built for us. Tomer built the entire pod for how much money, Tomer?
$25 each, so total $100.
Do you notice how he built the decks for all of us? And he the one
I did notice that.
Did not rig it.
It looks kind of sus, Tomer.
This isn't petty prof anymore. It's proper play prof. All the P.
So much PP.
So much PP.
He's showing weakness. Get him.
You've played your last shambling guest.
Because it's Commander, yeah.
Yes, correct.
That's am I going to win next turn type face.
Oh, God, no. You didn't build it that good.
He just called you a zoomer. You gonna take that?
Because of that, I'm gonna swing at prof.